Yes, she's. Be the difficult things and then. And then goes. All right, I will now call to order this evening's study session of the Champaign County Developmental Disabilities Board and the Champaign County Mental Health Board. It is Wednesday, September 24th, 2025 at 5:45 p.m. in the Shields Carter Room of the Scott M. Bennett Administrative Center, Urbana, Illinois. May I have a roll call?
Alejandro Gomez, Chris Miner,
Here.
Tony Nichols, Elaine Palencia,
Here.
Kyle Patterson,
Here.
Emily Rodriguez, Jane Sprendel,
Here.
Jean Paul Joachim,
Here.
Molly McClay,
Here.
Kim Fisher, Susan Fowler,
Here.
Jenny Loshkin, Ann Robin,
Here.
Neil Sharma, Vicky Nicewonder.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We can next move on to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion on the agenda or motions to approve? All right, seeing no discussion, I will move to approve the agenda. May I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any final discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of approving the agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. The agenda is approved. We will next move to public participation and agency input. As always, both boards are welcome individuals in the community to share their input with us. While we may not be able to respond directly to public input, we do use it to inform future decisions. There will be a lot of opportunities for discussion this evening, and I know some individuals who are in attendance have designated times that they might be speaking. But in terms of other public input, there will be time now and at the end of the meeting that you can provide it, and you can do so by approaching the podium, by filling out a slip of paper that's up there if you want to write your comment. You can also, if you're on Zoom, you can put something into the chat or you can raise your hand. For anybody who may need to know this, please be aware of the Illinois Lobbyist Registration Act and take appropriate steps to be in compliance with the act if you're speaking with us. And we may limit individual time to 5 minutes and or total time to 20 minutes. That's a lot of information. Seeing, I guess from there, is there anybody either online or in person who would like to share public input at this time? Anyone online? All right, seeing none, we can move on. And again, there will be time for public input later on. So we will next move to president's comments. So we will first hear from the president of the Developmental Disabilities Board.
Turn the microphone on. Okay. I am just so glad that we have the self-advocates back with us tonight. It's been a long time. We're looking forward to hearing you and listening to everything that you have to say to us. It's an honor to have you here, and we wish we could do more to hear your voices throughout the course of the year. So thank you for coming. Thank you for spending the time to do this for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for your comments. And I'm Molly McClay, the chair of the Champaign County Mental Health Board. And I just want to echo those same comments. We are very, very excited to hear from everyone this evening and are really grateful to have our advocates. We have Engage Illinois, and we have also some information provided from the CCRPC Annual Preferences Survey, and are very grateful to the entire staff for putting this together, especially Kim Bowdry, who will be helping lead some of the questions this evening. I also want to mention that we've had a few study sessions for the Mental Health Board, and we will be having one on October 29th around immigrant and refugee mental health as well. And we really welcome this opportunity to hear from members of our community to better understand everybody's needs and figure out how we can best serve as our individual boards. So those are my comments for the evening. So we will next move to Executive Director's comments from Lynn Canfield.
Hi, I was just thinking about deferring comments, but then I thought maybe not. I want to encourage folks to sign in at the little sign-in sheet and have a snack and a beverage. And also welcome Senator Rose. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you being here.
But as most of you know, my wife actually works at JC and also at Swan as an occupational therapist. So she and I hold the entire DD community in our hearts. Try many in this room.
Would you want to come to the microphone and share with us? I really appreciate these comments, and I think it's okay for me to defer comments to an honored guest. Okay.
Oh, can you turn the microphone on so it shows up green? Perfect.
Yeah, Champaign Rose for the record. State Center 51st District, 12 counties, including most of Champaign geographically anyway, not Champaign-Urbana or Solway. I was just mentioning that Wednesday night's reserved for my wife and our kids. We have a small group tonight, so I apologize, and nothing comes between us and that on Wednesday nights. But I'll have to leave about 6:15. But I was mentioning my wife, Camille, works at Swan Rehab and also at DSC, and has spent her entire career as an occupational therapist, essentially dealing with our wonderful friends and neighbors in the DD community. So we have a big place in our heart for DD issues. I think any of the providers in the 12 counties that I represent know that I fight for them every year when it comes to budget. And in fact, the last 3 budget speeches I closed with the DD community as my closing on the Senate floor. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. I just apologize greatly. I have to leave, but I do reserve Wednesday nights for my family. So, but happy to meet with you outside anytime. Okay.
Thank you for that. And you can see the rest of this meeting online because we record and post. And also to the other honored guests sitting way in the back, there is room at the round table for folks. So if you want to come up, and it's okay if you're shy and don't want to, because we're over here being shy. So that's okay too. One thing I did decide to say is that we had a developmental disabilities board meeting this morning, and it was really quite emotional, and I'm really still feeling that, which is why I would like to defer any other comments and get on with the show. And we are, Kim Bowdry is going to skip her plan because we have Kelly Martin is going to introduce the speakers and share about how they organized what they're going to say to us today. So is that all right?
Of course, that
Sorry,
sounds great.
Kim.
All right. Well, like she said, let's get the show on the road. So, again, my name is Kelly Martin. I work at DSC and helped with folks from Community Choices to get things kind of going with the advocates. And when we were asked to present information, we got about 3 questions, like what's going well, what could be going better, what else do you want to share with us? And we all got together, and Community Choices and DSC advocates decided that they wanted to create a survey. And instead of just sharing their own personal experiences, they wanted to see what other people, their friends and peers, might say. So they created the survey and distributed that to other advocates. And the survey focused on identifying what is going well and where there are challenges in the following areas: health, work, transportation, recreation and leisure, housing, and advocacy. We did receive about 22 responses, and then the advocates met as a group together to discuss common themes that they saw throughout the survey responses. And so the advocates are going to present those survey results for what's working well and what could be working better in regards to these 6 advocates. And then at the end, they will be open to taking any questions that you might have. And I believe you have their bios in the packet, and then each of them will introduce themselves as they get ready to tell you about their designated area. So, Eric, take it away.
Hi, my name is Eric Beasley. I'm going to talk about the for working categories. Here is some some of the things with that advocacy shared for good that is going well in their work lives. Advocacy are getting paid and earning money. They reported that they like their coworkers and bosses. This is the biggest difference for people's satisfaction at work. Media also reported they are enjoying their work schedule. People are getting the schedules that are made accommodated the fire needs. Activists report enjoying the work they do. Yeah, here are some things that are reported that it could be better in the work. It is hard to balance benefits at the work because we wanted we're working because, but we don't want to lose our benefits. The paperwork can be complicated. There are often a lot of hoops it jumps us through. Some of the administrative responsibilities can be hard. Some of the jobs you need to be more accessible. Being on your feet for a long time is challenging at some jobs. There should be more opportunities for those with the physical disabilities who needed to sit down often. Some of the people they reported wanting more money, more hours, and more work outside of the seasonal jobs. Others also mentioned they needed more than job training.
Hi, my name is Shimbue, and I'm going to talk about the health category. I'll start with what is going well with people's health. Advocates reported being able to see doctors they like. Many reported getting the care and medication they need. Advocates are feeling healthy and are focusing on eating healthy, drinking water, and exercising. Here are some things that were reported that could be better with people's health. Some people have a lot of appointments. Others reported taking too much medication. Long waiting times at appointments are frustrating and inconvenient. Individuals who use wheelchairs say they need to get new wheelchairs faster. Some people reported that they would like to work on being on the same page with family about what is good for their health. Some spoke about wanting to lose weight and be more active. Others mentioned the need for cheaper options for services that insurance doesn't cover. Mental health is also a topic of improvement that was mentioned.
Hi, my name's Dory, and I'm going to talk about recreation and leisure. In short, and things going to be people responsibility, and they are attending different special events, groups, organization such as CUR, Community Choices, DSC, people responsible having good friends, good churches, FTC, like playing games and family, friends, housemates, and online. Many also have individually with hobbies in interests, clubs such as mingle as exercise and bowling. Here are some things that are that could be mattered with people. Recreation and leisure. It is stressful and having and keep friends and can come up, and for many also hard to make friends, and some will repeat not having enough money or pay hobbies, transportation, and fun activities around the community. Obviously, waiting more to do more. Opportunity free events, more weekends activities, weekends transportation help people to travel and experience more. Sometimes people with creation place events and not always a sense. I did it. Yeah. I did it.
My name is Danielle, and I am going to walk about the house facility, house, how to quarterly. I start with things going well.
Efficacy.
Efficacy
Repeat.
appeared, began, happy that where they live. Some are living on their no, oh, that word OWN oh who own and like independent. Some are living in apartment, so are living with family, and some are living in group homes and like their house manager, housemate, people feel safe. They like the
Location.
of the
Housing.
housing, so have new park places and like so many like laundry that is on city set. Here are some things that are that could be better with people housing
Experience.
experience
It's expenses.
expensive, so people was now how who
More.
more of your town space or just want more li- less staff turnover in
Group home.
group home other respond and that they need to learn more away getting along so talk about for
Not fair.
fair their
Future.
future and the needs for future planning so they know that their housing plan are as parents give only
Order.
All right. Hello, my name is Toby, and I'm going to talk about the transportation category. I'll start with things going well. Our community has a lot of options for transportation, including community choices, transportation program, Lyft, Uber, MTD buses, ADA, and family and friends. The MTD buses are accessible and easy to get around. MTD also provides free dash passes for people with disabilities. Many like that live close to easy access to buses. Advocates report having strong family support. Some advocates have their driver's licenses, and I really like this. Here are some of the things that we were reported that could be better with transportation. Advocates reporting needing more ride options that go outside of Champaign-Urbana to other nearby towns, and weekend options. Some reported they needed more accessible options for people in wheelchairs. The MTD changing routes in the summertime is a point of frustration for some. The MTD ADA has poor communications at times. For drivers, gas prices and affordability is a concern. Also, some spoke of the fact that they have to get rides from other people, like PSWs, which could be hard and not always reliable. Okay, Tara?
I'm playing it for dark.
Okay.
So here I am again. What I'm gonna talk about is the advocacy the category. I like that with the things are going well. Speak up, speak out. The what's the success this year? Many reported that they've been like being a part of the advocacy group from the community choices and DSC. Some have enjoyed their experience advocacy with politicians in Springfield. Community Choices made a health guide a few years ago. Back that has been very helpful for some. And another person reported that enjoyed being on the Community Choices board of directors. Here are some things that were reported that would be better for the advocacy. Yeah. People don't always feel seen or heard. We want the culture to change and be more welcoming and less judgmental. Uh, some think there needs to be a more public awareness about the disabilities and other organizations. Some ask for more opportunities to advocacy or more events to share their stories. Activists uh, are also looking for more collaboration between groups. They want to see organizations working together to advocate. Uh, okay, anything else for the board? Some of the people are worried about people that they do have disability but are not disabled enough to qualify for the disability service and benefits.
And people with disabilities are still smart. Many still want to work. Some people need accommodations. It's hard to find jobs. Organizations should use funds for what they are meant for.
I other divide advocacy agree on Champaign County needs focus on finding the more access sidewalks, public transportation, business layout to help make resource activities for launching for our friends in wheelchairs. Please do not put them on the back burner.
Daniel, many people are lonely and are looking for a ways to make the connected with other people.
Thank you all for sharing that. If there are questions from board members, now's the time.
Can you say more about how we can help people develop friendships? Perhaps we need to be working more outside of DSC community choices so that the friendships come from others in the community. Do you have suggestions for how to facilitate more friendship? Yes.
There's other organizations, and I know friendships for the U of I have paired up with people with disabilities as students for bus buddies. We need some more programs. And I know they are trying to expand their age group. I mean, it would help, but you need more social opportunities probably would be, because not all nonprofit organizations are offering, social opportunities. So for a ton, many don't have like all that funding. So it's, yeah, it would help. And for some people don't know about and need somebody to help them learn what it's the difference between a friendship and just being an acquaintance. A lot of people don't know the difference between an acquaintance and friendships. So people need to learn the difference. They need like a staff member or somebody to have like a program to help them learn. And what are the steps you need to do to take more to make friends? How do you do that? People like myself, my parents didn't teach me that much, about how to make friends. All I knew was mainly about for acquaintances, but what a friendship is not, and it takes a long time when you don't have the opportunity. Because I had a learning disability in school, I spent all my time on my homework doing that, so I didn't have the opportunity to go for social events to make friends, because I spent twice as much time I spent all my time doing my homework, and I didn't have the opportunity. For when people don't have those social opportunities when they're in school, it hurts and you fall right behind in life. It's not helping.
Thank you very much. That's very helpful.
Well, I would say friendships are very important because in my past, when I was in high school, I had many friends back in my time when I was in the small town high school, and also we've known each other since elementary, and also there's been contests each and here and there, but I went to football, American football, so I connected with the boys, made a lot of friends there. And of course, I've been to homeworks and also got B straights. And I got bullied about 3 times. But still, those kind of boys has been through harder times than I have.
What helps you make friends? What would help you?
What would help me make friends? Just branching out and meeting more people, I guess, more groups and things of that nature. Yes, money can be a barrier depending on how much is needed.
Especially going out to eat, and now the times people don't have, and for fun activities are expensive sometimes, like you find those at the Virginia Theater, or there could be, or football, basketball sports games can be expensive.
So I have a question that might be answered better by our staff, but obviously if any of our advocates can weigh in on this. So like I have a sister who's in her early 40s with some disabilities, and I don't recall as she was going through the school system per se having like life skill classes where I feel like that's where you would kind of teach or nurture friendships and things like that. Is that something through the years has gotten better, or are we still seeing young adults, maybe college age students, still coming in and not really having those skills? Because I recognize we have a lot to teach any child in a school, but I was just wondering if, through studies and experience, if we've learned we need to start in kindergarten showing people how to communicate better with people. And I like the idea of acquaintances versus friends, because unfortunately, I'm sure you guys have experienced people who you thought were your friends and they were kind of using you. um, So I don't know if anyone has any feedback on that or if you kind of understand what I'm asking, but please.
Well, I do agree with you on that for the classes for special education. But with according myself, back in my time, we did have special education class, but it was not disability. There were kids that falling back of grades. There were kids that fall back of homework, and I made a few friends in there, and also everyone got along with me. But all of a sudden, about a few years later, when actually Jen and I were volunteering one of the elementary schools, and also when I was I see where's the connection to those kids? It was like blocking everything, and also not to mention we just don't look like we exist anymore. I just felt like, where are they now?
Eric, were you ever taught like the difference between relationships? Did you have any guidance in school about life skills like that, like how to make friends or
I would say life skills is very challenging. The life skills that can be very mysterious, and also it could be many possibilities of what kind of the abilities we have during school times. We have to find strength and weaknesses in each one of us, and for either all the above. You'll be surprised how many friends you can make in that school.
Yes, we were mentors at, I think it was at the middle school for Jefferson, but there isn't any that much for mentoring even for now, but also I don't feel like enough life skills groups, out there for organizations like helping, but I know, PACE, a Center for Independent Living, is helping with trying to get youth kids for transition into that. Back in my time, those weren't, I mean, I didn't know and wasn't available. That's really what you need is a slow transition. And we can't just learn everything all at once. How are you going to learn everything at once? There's too much to handle all at once, then you can't concentrate. And how is like, you gotta do a little bit so you can concentrate and then just take small steps. And it needs to be, you gotta do it a little bit at a time, but it would help if you had, some more groups in like different levels, like for learning skills, and that's what would really I think help. But also affordable housing is people to be able to afford apartments. That's why a lot of people are living with family or group homes, or it's just trying to be able to afford it. And well, transportation, but also it's like you get to make your own choices. Some people would rather be able to cook their own food instead of having to be in the assistant living or group homes, but so they could get better cooking skills or stuff to live, instead of having and try to learn to cook for a variety of healthy foods. So, to do a meal planning, a lot of people are different based on their blood types.
I'd like to add to your question, Jane. Well, add some information as an answer to your question. I think that maybe kids might be coming out of school with some more skills for building friendships now. However, when you transition out of school, some people are going into college where then those friends are still readily available or people are readily available. And when you don't kind of have that kind of everyday, exposure to people, like all of a sudden you're sitting at home, I think then some of those skills and things that you've learned, then, like all of us kind of get forgotten. And so we have offered some different, like we call them personal development classes through Community Choices. So things like Jen's mentioned, like cooking skills. We've offered classes on what it means to be a friend and some of those unwritten rules of friendship, like talking about acquaintances versus friends versus staff versus people you may pay to be in your lives, like the person who cuts your hair, like we all do, right? But I think that without having more opportunities to practice those skills, it can be really hard to continue to develop them, just like it is for any of us. So.
Can I actually add a couple of words as a parent of a young man with disabilities? If we didn't have home-based services or the PSW availability, I finally figured out, as did my son, that the best use of his PSWs were to get him out into the community, to exercise at the Y with him, to interact with him and become, quasi buddies, at least, to play games with him so they felt more comfortable. And most recently, to cook with him, to go to the store with him. So, not everybody has the flexibility perhaps to use their PSWs. Plus, it took us maybe 5 or 6 years to find the right kind of PSWs. And they don't last because they're young adults and they move on. So it's, I think there's a systemic challenge, even when we can, so to speak, pay for companions and friends. And they really are friends and they've maintained communication beyond staying in town. But I'm just very concerned that if we ever lose the funds for PSWs, we're going to have more lonely adults.
I think you're right. Yeah, if you lose the funding, people will not just loneliness, but will be out how much less help you don't realize how much it's just like doing activities, going for, like you said, for exercise, going to do fun recreation activities, helping you do stuff at home and exercising and going out in the community, how much it's lost. Just like at COVID, when people had to be at home. I mean, you could see the effects for the mental and how much lonely it's like not being able to get out and about makes a huge difference. Yep. It's going to make a huge difference if you don't have that and don't have the money to go out and do it. And people already for the food, the SNAP, is low because so even if you don't get that much, they only base that on your rent and your utilities. It wouldn't matter anything else whether you had a ton of other bills or not. And I guess the requirements and the rules are a little bit changing, there but hopefully we can advocate better and help them get them back on track for that.
Well, truth is, on the personal support worker, you said that they leave all the time. But truth is, in my part, I have the worst luck on personal support workers, the worst luck, because they only last only a month. They always take advantage of you, and also they're just here for the money. And also back in the past, we do papers all the time. But all of a sudden, I got one guy when I signed my name on it, didn't even see the times. He was freeloading the whole entire time, all the hours. And I had another one. We got along very well on that one. But all of a sudden, discovered she was doing a 13 hours straight week. That's under $10 an hour. They took advantage of all that money, and also we fired her for that one. so she didn't last very long and got in trouble. Which we didn't have the heart for it because she just had a kid, so we didn't. So I think she got lucky for that one. Anyway, I would say to me, the principal workers are just a waste of skin.
Can I respond briefly? I would agree sometimes with that because we went through some similar situations. I mean, it really took referral from referral from referral, and people who are truly interested in individuals with disabilities to get the right support workers, and those are hard to find. You don't find them on Indeed. It's, you know.
I got one. Lori and then was talking to me today after they came over yesterday. They talking to me about benefits. They're trying to get me benefits better and working with Addis, my home care. And I said, well, I want that choice. I want to do it because I got a person comes in Monday through Friday to help me out, and I can do some things, and some things I could do everything for myself, and some things I just want her to help me to do a lot of stuff for me. And I sitting there looking at her. She said, I just your PL. Come on to help me to do stuff. And she asked me what I want for dinner. And I said, what you want for dinner? And she said, if you want some soup or something like that. She fixed the soup for me and I ate it. And she said, the soup is too hot. Just let it cool down first and then you can eat it. And then I was sitting there watching TV and me and her sit there and talk together. And she asked me, you ready to, she was doing everything what you want to do. She went outside and then she went home a minute. And I said, what are you going to? She went home a minute because she had to do something at home a minute. Then she came back, got me ready to go take a shower. And I got a shower chair. She helped me get undressed and stuff like that. And I walked to my shower chair by myself and sitting down. And she helped me and all that stuff. And then I called her name and told her to come back inside the bathroom with me because I don't want to fall down. I got a shower chair and I got my alert right there because it told me the alert is sitting right there. If you fall down or something like that, just put your alert on, and they come in to help me get back up off the floor because I don't want to hurt myself and I don't want to hurt her because the reason why is I may be standing right by me. I don't want to fall down and hurt my head or bump my head on the floor because the floor is hard like a brick. And I don't want to fall down and hurt myself. And we all sit there and talk, and Lori came up talking to me about it. And Talisha came in and I talked to her more about it to get PL. And I said, Lori, are you going to lose all my benefits? And she said, no, you're not losing your benefits, but you might lose not the home care, you'll be losing the people at what's the name? And I said, I don't want that no more. I want to do more for myself. And she could come on in and help me out more because Monday through Friday, she comes in at 4 o'clock. Okay, 4 o'clock comes up. I sit there watch TV with her and all that stuff, and then after that, she asked me what I want to have for dinner, and she told me, "You got a lot of food here. Then which one you want? You want soup?" And I said, "Yes, I want some soup." And then after that, she came over and helped me a little while, and she said, "Then I want to get this place cleaned up with more, get the the stuff off the couch and all that stuff. I left everything on the couch, and I said, pick up the stuff and put it away, because I have my Bible and all that stuff on there, and looking for, I was sitting there looking if they would schedule me for a ride for going to work. MC don't pay, I mean, MC don't pay me that long, right? And I asked them, I want more hours, but they said there is not got more hours for me. It's only 1:30 to 4:30, and I left us at 4:30, 1:30 to 4:30, and no more hours for me yet. And I said, "Come on, people, I want more hours on Saturday." I sitting at home, be bored all the time, and everybody asked me, "Why you be bored on Saturday for?" And I said, "I am bored now. I am not working because my schedule is now popped up."
Hey, Danielle, that was a perfect segue into something I wanted to share.
Okay.
So it sounded like you were talking a lot about you like your personal support worker and you
Yes.
want to have her and you have other people that support her. And Susan was asking about like other friends or
friend of
other
family.
natural supports and like
Okay.
your friends at your church and
Yeah, church
and
and-
that sort of thing. But you mentioned that sometimes you're bored on Saturdays.
Yes, I am.
And so one of the kind of life skills, social connection thing that we try to do, we have a group at DSC that's called Employment Plus. And so you have an opportunity to go out with other people that have jobs within the community. But the goal of that is to try to make those connections with each other so that then you guys can be friends and have really figured out how to like connect with each other outside of DSC helping with that or community choices helping with that. And then we also do something similar with people that live in their own apartments because we recognize that sometimes it's hard to figure out what to do when staff aren't directing it.
Yeah.
And so this has really like individuals and people that are in there are trying to figure out what they're going to do and maintaining that friendship. And some of them are getting together outside of structured events and activities, which is really, really cool. So thank you all for sharing that. Do we have some other questions from the board?
Well, I think we lost Molly here for a minute, but I want to thank the group for doing such a nice job. You are a very articulate and smart group of people, and we have learned a lot tonight from all of you. Thank you. Well, should I go ahead and introduce? Okay. So we're going to go to the next segment of our meeting tonight, which is a little discussion of a group that we've been discussing in our CCDDB meetings for quite a few months, Engage Illinois, which is really looking toward moving Illinois toward giving people with disabilities better supports and services, much better than what is currently offered. So to that end, we have our guest with us, Sharon Costabile, who is the the queen of Engage Illinois. I would call her. It's not an official organization quite yet, but Sharon has been doing a boatload of work to connect people, and she's going to tell you about that tonight. And you need that.
I think I need a microphone. The very first thing that I would want to say is Jen, Eric, Toby, Theodora, and Danielle. I am so grateful to hear everything that you have shared tonight. I just want you to know how important you are to change. Thank you very much for sharing. Okay. Second thing, my name is Sharon Costabile. I have a daughter with Down syndrome. She's 39 years old. Her name is Rachel. and she is living in her own place for going on 4 years now with a couple of friends. I'm going to tell you a little bit about their story. But first, I'd like to know who I'm speaking to. This is kind of new for me, so I hope that you'll bear with me. You folks are all living in your own places, or no? I see a head shake. Maybe I should ask, where do you guys live?
I live with my mother in a duplex in Champaign. So there's a reason because of the affordability, for affordable housing, that is the number one issue why I am with my mother because I just cannot seem to afford it or to find a place that's affordable, that meets my needs when I've got insomnia and I just can't handle, and to find something and for somebody to do a housing voucher when you can't or find a roommate,
And do you have home-based support?
I have the home-based support, like she said, the PSW.
Right.
Yes. Now, yeah. So
thank you. Eric?
Well, I used to live in my by myself because, well, the thing is, the reason why I got the by myself years ago because when I was first established when I was 18, and also all they did was kind of like a wheel of fortune they use, kind of like a pick a spot. Like the biggest is group home, the roommate, but guess how big it is on with yourself. That's small. Yeah, because what they routed, I got it for a loan right there, and they said you got lucky on that one.
Okay. So you live by yourself now?
Well, truth is, I moved up here because I just had to do a roommate, which is my mother.
Okay.
She had to get out of the town because it was getting rougher now.
Okay.
And also, we use Section 8 housing.
Okay.
It saved up a lot of money for both of us.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, my grandfather, since my grandmother passed away 2 years ago, and he was getting pretty lonely, so it took all three of us to get a house, so all three of us can live in there. And so I've been living there for 2 years on the house. Got a good deal on the bus drives.
And are you on home-based support as well? You have a
No,
PSW?
not PSW. Well, my mother is working on it being a PSW.
Okay.
So we can have a little extra money to get through.
Gotcha. And Toby, are you on home-based or do you live on your own?
I live with my parents.
Thank you. And how about you, Theodora?
I live in a group home.
In a group home. Danielle?
I live at 16 Square.
At a group home?
No.
No. I'm sorry, I misunderstood what you said.
I live at
An apartment?
apartment.
Okay, very cool. And does if a little show of hands of those who have an individual with a disability in their life? Thank you very much. I can't see behind me, but I know there's a few of you. Okay. What I'd like to talk about is a friend of mine, and her name is Ashley. This is Ashley. Ashley usually comes with me to do presentations. She's just fabulous. Young lady, Down syndrome is her disability. Her abilities are incredible. She's a marketing genius. She's very chatty. And a couple of years back, she found herself in a crisis. Her parents both passed away. Her dad had already been gone. Her mom passed away, and she was very scared. She wasn't quite sure where she was going to end up, where she was going to live. And it was suggested to her at that point that she moved possibly to Springfield. Now, she was from the north area in the northern suburbs of Chicago, so somewhat farther away from you guys. It was suggested that she move to Springfield, to a state-operated developmental center, an institution. And that was the default placement that was talked about. Ashley was very, very nervous about that. She didn't like the idea, but Ashley was very fortunate in that her mom had developed a lot of close relationships. She has 2 brothers. They don't live real close to her, but they are her support system. And mom made lots of friends as she was growing up. And those friends came to develop a circle of support around Ashley. And the friends said, no way, Ashley's not going to, Southern Illinois. Everybody she knows is up here, all her friends. We talk about friendships, and she had developed quite a few. So together, the friends and some of Ashley's new champions, one of whom is sitting next to me, Vicky, and some other individuals, Nancy and Chris and Anna, and they all said, we can help you think about a new future, Ashley, and we'll be there to guide you. So Ashley learned how to dream again, and a new chapter began to unfold for her. When one of those champions came to me and told me about Ashley, a friend of mine named Nancy, I told Nancy, well, Rachel just raised her hand and said she wanted to move out. Maybe we should get the girls together. Lo and behold, that's what happened. The girls came together, and Ashley and Rachel moved into their own place, 12 of 21. Their own place was a 1 floor in a 2 flat that my husband and I had purchased 25 years ago, with the thinking that someday Rach might want to be on her own. So as I was thinking about why we needed to develop our supports around that, and what those supports would be, I looked at what we had in Illinois. And many of you may already know this. We have really 2 choices other than SODCs, and that is either Box A, which is providers managed, agency managed group homes, or we have Box B, which is what some of you guys are familiar with, which is home-based support. What I knew is that Rachel really needed some of these other things that you see over here. She needed a person-centered plan. She needed flexibility because she likes to make plans. She carries around a little plaque that says, the girl who likes to make plans, everywhere with her. She sets it, it's one of these. She sets it on her desk no matter where she is. I like to make plans. So we knew this girl was going to need some flexibility. We knew she wanted to be in the community. She likes to walk to the library. She likes to volunteer at Feed My Starving Children. She's involved also in church, Danielle. So she likes going to some type of a service. We knew that was really important. But I think the most important thing is that she needed something that would be sustainable. And the reason I say that is because we all die, and I'm getting older, and about 80% of our folks are finding them living at home with aging parents. I'm sorry, 70% are living at home with aging parents, and 25% of those parents are over 60. And that's me. So I knew sustainability was what I needed to see for Rachel. So what we're looking at is something called a supported life. how can we support folks so that they can have all those wonderful things? And what is supported living? So if you look at the left side of the screen, for those of you who can see it, creating a life for someone based on the person's preferences, interests, needs, and choice. Building the scaffolding that they need. Scaffolding meaning, all the things that they need to do what they want to do and to take a shower, like Danielle Fine. All kinds of things to help that person be as independent as possible. Having the opportunity to live in the community, that's what supported living is. The ability to decide if they want to live alone or with someone else, a roommate. John O'Brien, some of you may be familiar with him. He just passed away recently. He wrote an article called Supported Living, What's the Difference? And he wrote that article in the early 1990s. It is his definition. It is helpful to define the edges of supported living by saying as clearly as possible what it is not. And on the right side, you'll see a whole big circle of things that supported living is not. And if we read some of those, which they're a little bit small, so I'm going to read a couple of them to you. Some examples of what supported living is not. It's not a program to fix someone or change someone. It's not being isolated or being lonely because you are on your own or bored. It's a test. It's not a test to see if you can live with no problems. It's just getting an apartment to live in. That's not supported living. It's not a set of uniform requirements and procedures. It's not compatible with services and congregate and control people. But what is supported living? If you look in the center there, it's a focus, and it really clarifies what we all need as people, not just individuals with disabilities. We all need a supported life. We need a church. We need, if we're faith-based, we need members that live near us that can support us in case of an emergency, a neighbor that has my key to open the door if I get locked out, those kinds of things. So John O'Brien says it is a safe and decent home of your choice with personalized assistance, support from others who care about you and respect you. And if we look at what supported living really is, it's dignity and choice and equity, where you move from being isolated out into the community and you can be spread apart. There can be multiple places to go, multiple landlords. You could be in control of your life. Those are the kinds of things that we know supported living is about. These guys needed a flexible and innovative supported living model with just a dollop of everything. Some dreaming, some fun choices, some routines, friendships, outings, working, community. This is Rachel in the middle and Ashley on the right, and their third roommate that was added a year after they moved in together, and her name is Ruth. Ruth likes the Where's Waldo costume. So of course, as the girls developed, they began to understand what you all have done such a wonderful job of doing, which is advocating for yourself. Rachel has shared some of the things that she likes to do in the recent Speak Up, Speak Out event. All three of the girls presented there on how to create your own micro business. And one of the things that Rachel liked to do was to make plans, to have, I'm blocked from reading my own screen, sorry, to search for recipes, for trying out new foods. She talked about looking for pictures of foods that she could cook, finding new desserts, sharing with family and friends. And Ruth also spoke. She likes to test out new recipes. She likes to take cookbooks to places to sell them. They published a cookbook with the help of our support team. Ruth likes to travel and they also like to take business trips together. They wanted to start their own business, and with our staff, they did just that. If you happen to be in the Naperville area, they're doing an open house in the month of 3 open houses in the month of November, so that folks can come and see what supported living looks like, and they are selling their merchandise there. Supported living is doing all of these things. It's advocating to live your life, which I am so pleased to see all of you folks doing so beautifully. On the bottom right, the girls were in a march to fight against the cuts in Medicaid. On the bottom left, the girls did a video for Rev Up Illinois, encouraging all folks with disabilities to vote. And in the top, they were honored by our Representative Janet Yang Rohr for the work they are doing as a micro business, and that Illinois is in support of folks with disabilities starting their own businesses. Life at the 209 home, which is what we call where they live, it jump-started change. So in 2023, several of us, family members, and our folks with disabilities came together and created something called the Creative Housing Network. Families led the initiative to make some changes in Illinois. I wrote a letter to Governor Pritzker, an 11-page letter, which had lots of great statistics in it about what we're not doing in Illinois. And lo and behold, I got a call from the tall gentleman in the back there. His name is Ryan Croak. Not in the back of the room, on the screen. That's so cute. Yeah, so Ryan Croak is Governor Pritzker's senior advisor on disability services, and he is also a deputy to Grace Howe, who is Secretary Grace Howe standing next to him in the picture. And then you have the director of the Division of Developmental Disabilities on the right, Tanya Pehoff. All of these folks joined us as we initiated a strategic planning meeting, and Vicki was also there, and Lynn, and we talked about what needs to change in Illinois. Together, this incredible group of about 70 folks, a variety of individuals with disabilities joined us, families, we had allies, we had people from the administration, we had just all the right people. Together, we established something called the North Star Plan. And in the North Star Plan, the first goal was to develop a coalition to help move forward the ideas that were presented for folks with disabilities to live better lives in Illinois. And so we were given a grant by the Coleman Foundation to begin Engage Illinois. Our vision is that individuals with disabilities design lives in the communities of their choice. The mission, uniting individuals and family voices for equity, dignity, and choice. Equity meaning we need to distribute the funding that is available for folks with disabilities across all folks with disabilities, not just some or more to some and less to others. And we need it based on their needs, not just a stipend, which we'll see a little bit of history here. The federal government developed institutions to educate people with disabilities to become productive members of society. Over the years, the institutions, I might as well go back so that you can see what I'm saying, or not.
If you're going back, use the up arrow.
The up arrow? Oh, mine doesn't want to do anything. There it is. Thank you. Over the years, institutions shifted from education to custodial services, and they functioned as the medical model where people were getting care in congregate settings. And that's kind of where we got stuck. Illinois, compared to other states, we know there's a disproportionate amount of allocated money going to bricks and mortar in Illinois, not to the services in the community. Illinois still has 7 institutions. And the institutions are the default placement in Illinois. So as we saw with Ashley, thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody over there. Thank you. That if you are in crisis and don't have someplace else to go, the institution is what is funded federally. And so in Illinois, that's the way it works. This shows you a little bit about the funding models that we currently have. Obviously, the federally funded default being on the left, the institutions and ICFDDs or the intermediate care facilities. In the middle, we have the waiver programs, which we're all familiar with. Box A, SILA, group homes, or Box B, home-based program. What we're looking for is more progressive options, something more supported living in the community. We don't really have a name for it yet. Some folks would like to say, hey, let's start a whole new waiver. We don't know that that's necessarily the way to go, but we know for sure that we need more flexibility. The federally funded models, this is what's interesting when we talk about equity. The federally funded models where individuals go into developmental centers, each person costs the federal government $350,000. If they go into an intermediate care facility, the annual cost is $150,000 approximately per person. Then we look at the waiver programs. I know we have some providers that are here, and we know that this model, this community integrated living arrangement was established in 1981, and the model has not really changed much in 40 years. So it's needs-based, but it's not person-centered. Group homes are run by licensed providers, and the estimated average annual cost is on the bell curve, right in the middle there, 80 to 100,000. Higher needs individuals obviously cost more, and those with lower needs are funded for less money. Rules and regulations have also not been updated for about 40 years. The home-based program, which we're all familiar with here, is a stipend of 3 times SSI, approximately $34,000 a year. So over here and over here. What we see is it's not equitable. It's not based on need in the home-based program. And that is something that is a serious problem. And especially because we see that right now, 80% of our families are selecting home-based. They're selecting home-based because there's not a lot of capacity for other options. They're also selecting home-based because they want more flexibility. And so with that happening, if we don't find ways for families to find a sustainable solution as we age to help our loved ones to be sustained in community, we're going to have and are already seeing some severe problems with capacity, with places for folks to live. And many folks are moving back in with families. And when parents die, we know where the default is. So we're advocating for more flexibility, for more personalized programs. And this slide shows the comparison between a home-based program, which currently has case management provided by the individual service coordinator, your caseworker. They have large loads, caseloads. We met with our case manager yesterday, and she has 60 people on her caseload. That's an awful lot of people. Meetings are usually once a quarter. Personal support workers are generally family members or individuals can be hired, but again, difficult to find good folks. And the monthly allotment of $2,900 provides about 4 to 6 hours of support a day for 5 days a week. a new program. This is what well, there you go. If you can spend it, that's a good point. I'll have to put that one in there. I'm sorry, I can't read the right side of my screen. A new program would include robust wraparound services. And it would be based again on the person's needs, that we could actually implement what we write in the plans. Wouldn't that be wonderful? That we allow and encourage our folks with disabilities to dream big, to think about what their interests and where they want to go and what they want to do, but yet we can't really implement all of those things. And also being able to find and hire personal support workers as part of the case management. So important. A new program should be needs-based and considerable multiple times throughout the day when support is required. So it shouldn't be just a couple of hours here and there. It should be across the day. Transportation, these are the services that are available on home-based. Transportation, nursing, emergency and employment support all have to come from the same monthly allotment. There's no funding available for flexible programming during the day. Nobody can go to an SRA special rec program and get that paid for, or a YMCA and get that paid for. There's none of that. It's all self-directed, but you can only do so much. A new program would allow for more flexibility. It would be needs-based as part of the overall needs-based funding program. Individuals could be able to choose what they want, the activities they want, in the community, what they want, classes they want to take, what they want to attend, where and when. So we need a strong parent voice, and the current strongest unified voice is in opposition, moving away from institutional and congregate settings, which is the most expensive option. They're in opposition for a variety of reasons, fear probably being one of the biggest, because families don't know what to expect. If their loved one were to move out of an institution, they don't know what that other option is. We don't have a good other option in some ways. So we need to advocate with louder voices for community-based programs that yield evidence-based positive outcomes. We need a strong family voice in Springfield representing the demand for better community-based options. And we need thousands of voters. We need everyone to come to the governor's office together. And if we can raise our voices together, we can make some changes. Together, we have the power to create equity, dignity, and choice. Sometimes the path that we have to take is not the easiest path, but what we do know is it's the right path. And so I would ask you to join us. You can join us at no cost. We are all volunteered. Certainly if there's someone who would like to donate any money so that we can travel and do these kinds of talks and expand the reach, we're thrilled. And of course, if you have anyone that you would like to network us to so that we can go and spread the word, or if anyone would like to, I'm gonna open it up to you in 1 second, Jen. Thank you. On page 30 are the QR codes that you see up on the screen. You can scan with your phone and put your name in, and then we can take those names to the governor and say, look at all these folks that want something more. So please join us. Yes, Jen.
Yes, to go to Springfield, like you say, because I don't think even enough like organizations that have enough money to fund to go and to drive, or to take people with disabilities to carpool, to even have the money to do that, to go up there
and use your voice.
Yeah, it's right. To enough. That's where I've asked Pace a long time ago that when they had, but now they don't have the funds anymore. When people don't have enough funding and the time to go up there and take people, I mean, up there to get enough funds to drive people and to
Right.
do those speak up, speak out, going home rallies, all kinds. It would, this is where we're talking about like a lot of people, we know it costs money, yeah, for people want to be reimbursed for gas and
Right.
for all that to drive. So that's where it's going to cost. But I know if you also want to ask a Center for Independent Living located in Lincoln Square on the second floor, I'm sure they would be happy to do this too, because
Put a bus,
they
put a
have
bus together.
they would do. They got an advocacy group for people with
There you
disabilities,
go.
and which I'm involved. That meets once a month, usually on the first Wednesday of the month. So, if you ever wanted, you can call. I can ask for probably Mel, and she would be happy or to arrange a time for you. They do it
To
hybrid.
talk to people.
Yeah, to go online. It's a
Mhm.
hybrid. You can go online or come in person like you do tonight. They have their meetings, So
That's a great referral. Thank you, Jen. Thank you. It's a great suggestion. I know that this is probably later than you typically go. Is this later? I see tired people. So I don't want to belabor the time. If there are any burning questions, feel free to ask or email me. You certainly have my contact information there. And please join us. I feel that this is something that is important for both agencies, providers. We have lots of allies up by us. What's important is that the agencies and the providers are the ones that are going to help us. They're going to provide those services in terms of supports, and we need to collaborate and team because together we're better. Alone, we can't accomplish much. Helen Keller said it so well. Thank you very much, everyone. It should be, could be, but I have cards. It should be, could be. But
So we will find a way to provide the contact info.
I do have. I did remember to pack cards. So please. Yeah, no, I'll just get up. Thank you, and I'm so sorry that everyone's so here till late. It's still true.
We have had a few meetings that have gone longer than this recently, so we have done that. But are there any questions from board members or anyone else for our presenter?
There's you talk about supportive living, to what you said, but you have like the Eden supportive living, but it's not what you set up there. What they think versus what you think are two different. And if people call themselves as a supportive living, or it's
You make
probably
a
not
really
what
you make a really good point. And something that we are working on is helping people to understand the difference between supportive housing and supported living. Supportive housing is what you see, those large apartment buildings with some help with services on site. And folks have their own apartments, and maybe they're mixed use apartments. So you have some folks with disabilities, some seniors, some of those that typically started from people who were unhomed. So it was intended originally as an affordable living option, but it has morphed into other things actually, and the definition is very, very cloudy. Supported living is not about bricks and mortar. It's only about services. and you could take those services with you wherever you go. You can live in an apartment and get supported services. You can rent a house. You can rent an apartment. You can own a condo. You can live with your friends or you can live alone. It's how you get those services. So it's not about the bricks and mortar. It's about the services. Thanks for asking that question. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Just going to repeat how very, very important for the 80% or 70% of people who default into home base. Home base is minimally successful for many families, and it's minimally successful because the agencies that are SDA, state designated agencies, they're wonderful in terms of their caring and desire to help, but they are not able at this point to help identify PSWs and do more than
that's so true.
process the paperwork. And it takes a month to process the paperwork. That's not their fault, but you can lose PSWs in the month that it takes to
That's a
be
good point.
approved, get your fingerprints taken, pay for some of this stuff. And then it's entirely up to the family to train the PSW.
Yeah.
And to monitor the PSW.
Yeah,
It's a lot of
and those are the things that we need to bring voice to when it comes to creating a new program. We need a program that addresses that. How do we find support workers if it's a self-directed program, and the self-direction gives you the flexibility, but it doesn't give you the help that you need in finding staffing? I have been very, very fortunate in finding the folks that we have at the home where the girls live. We have 3.5 people, and the home is staffed 24/7. I manage it, so it's a family managed home. I do payroll. It's not easily replicable for most folks. So we need something like what we're doing that's a hybrid, that is, it could be self-directed if people are so inclined, but hopefully it could be either. If you need help from an agency, then you need help from an agency. I mean, when I die, my husband says, I don't know who's going to do all this stuff that you're doing. Payroll, he says, I'm not going to do that. So we don't have a sustainable solution, even though we have a fairly cool situation for the girls. It's just not sustainable. We need to get our voices really, really loud. And any help that we can get from everyone who we affiliate with is important. Thanks for bringing that up. Home-based was, according to Director Pihoff, who I've had many conversations with now, home-based was originally intended as an interim. It was not intended as the main choice, but it has shifted to the main choice. And so it leads people to believe that, Illinois is doing so good. Look at all the people taking home-based. We should get off of the Liggins consent decree because we're servicing all the people, when that's really not the case. Folks are taking it because they don't have a lot of other choice.
So last year when we did another study session like this, there were some things brought up by our advocates, and I said, legislation. And I'm so thankful I got to meet you tonight, Sharon. As I said earlier, I have a sister who is 44. I have a dad who's 78. So I am working my darndest to plan ahead for the future, but pretty much I'm being told, when you have a crisis, we'll be happy to help you. I cannot get her approved for disability because she's still choosing to work. And I'm like, what? I know people on disability who are far better off than my sister. And so maybe I need to help become one of those voices because I like to talk. So
I would love that.
So
Jane.
maybe you and
Let's talk.
and maybe you can direct me. But again, there's so much going on in this world, but in this state. And again, sometimes we have to be the squeaky wheel to these legislators. And I was so thankful that Chapin Rose was here tonight. I totally respect him, that this is family and God night. But believe me, his name is on my list to also say, hey, I want to partner with you.
Mhm.
Are you willing to listen? Now, granted, my sister's in Iroquois County, but you know what? She's in the state of Illinois. So,
Right.
yep.
And I appreciate you bringing up the legislative piece. One of our counterparts on the steering committee for Engage Illinois, her name is Susan Mack, and she has met with, we're probably talking about 25 or so legislators from the House of Representatives and senators. And what we're finding is they're saying, let's see if you can do this through the division. If you can get these changes, get them interested in helping to make these changes, and we'll stand behind you. We have lots of legislators saying they will stand behind Engage Illinois. So as we grow our coalition, that's the most important thing right now, is to grow the coalition so that we can come up and say, hey, we're representing a huge portion. We know that on home-based alone, there are over 12,000 people that are on home-based. There's another 11,000 that are on in SILAs, in group homes. And then there are 16,000 on the PUNS list. So why should those that have folks in state-operated developmental centers have a louder voice than those of us who have larger numbers? So let's even the playing field. They didn't even include in a guidehouse study for rates in the state of Illinois, they did not even include home-based. They only included the rates that are affiliated with the providers. So we have a stipend, $34,000 that, who can live on $34,000? Not that we want the state to support everything, but let's do it equitably. If we have a bucket of money, let's make sure that we're spreading that bucket out based on need across all folks. Thanks.
I wanted to make a really quick comment just to affirm the strategy of this is actually about numbers right now. The more people who are filing witness slips, the longer the list of names that you can claim support these ideas, that's really going to matter. I mean, this is, I don't like to bring up politics, but this is actually in the state of Illinois, there is such a big political interest behind maintaining the large institutions. And I think everybody who knows the right thing to do is the community-based services, but unless there are high numbers of witness slips, and these are easy things to do, the conversation about changing the rules, changing the service categories, which are funded through Medicaid waivers, that's different. I think that you're right. What you just said about legislators are ready as long as state agency staff have the time and the support to do those redesigns. I think that part is ready. It's just you need a long list of people now.
We have a very receptive administration right now, and we need to take advantage of that opportunity. We have receptive folks in the Division of Developmental Disabilities. We have lots of folks, allies, including, county boards that we're speaking to county boards. We're speaking to Centers for Independent Living. We're talking to the boards, directors of all of the CILs. So people are receptive. We just need to, I think what's happened over the years is there have been siloed groups of advocacy organizations. In many states, those all come together under one People's Choice type group. Illinois does not have that. We have the Arc of Illinois, which does a wonderful job of educating folks and helping to understand this complicated mess that we have here. But the system's broken, and we need to push to get it fixed while the fire is hot, despite the fact that there's going to be cutbacks in federal funding. We still have people that need services. I'm sorry, we have to, whether it's public-private collaboration, county boards can help in some ways. I mean, we need to find ways to be innovative and creative with what we have. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn.
Any other questions or comments?
You're right. For the I mean, it's like, but to be able to, for not people to be homeless. I mean, that's why people can't afford it, but it's the to find the to be able to have stuff more affordable. It's for
Absolutely.
I mean, our property, we're the highest in the country for property taxes. And I think that's one of the reasons why we don't want any people don't want to buy the housing, and you can't find enough places to rent that's affordable. It's all comes in utilities are high, but the LIHEAP has gone downhill. I know a long time ago that it used to cover the air conditioning, but no longer will. Now it's like you need it in the summer too, not just in the winter. I mean, and people that it's the food prices are gone up, and the SNAP is, and they're saying for people to be able to work and still keep their benefits. That's the main issue, to be able to with that and not to lose their SNAP and not to lose their other benefits.
That's
Because
true.
SNAP right now, well, used to me you could only work 10 hours a week and still keep your SNAP benefits. Otherwise, if you work more than 10 hours a week, you do not qualify for SNAP. So that's the deal. When I once had a job, I lost my SNAP. And then COVID hit, and then you lost that. And now I'm still on SNAP, but I'm only getting the minimum. Now, what do you think? I tell you guys, is $20 a month enough for food? Obviously not. And that's why a lot of people are, I mean, out there needing the daily bread soup kitchen, are homeless. There's they don't have enough family members to help them. They need family members like myself. I would need my help with my mother to help me to pay. It's just like you don't, not everybody has all these
Benefits.
fits to help,
Yeah.
and then we need the extra help here to
Bless you.
support. And I know people that having mental health issues, that I had a friend that once had seizures, and when she was and had depression, and she was in the psych hospital, and then got moved out and was kicked out of Eden, because she was gone so long, and then ended up at Strides, then ended up in a hotel, and then finally found a place in Danville. It took a long time for her to find affordable place to live. This is something that you need. It really
It's really important.
important.
It is, and your
Thank you
voice has
so
been
much.
really important
Thank you so
tonight,
much.
Jennifer. We really appreciate it. I think that
I would love to talk more with you, Jennifer. We'll have to exchange numbers. You have mine. I'll get yours if you wouldn't mind.
All right. Well, thank you very, very much. I think we will move on to the next item here. I wasn't sure if the staff wanted to share about the results of the CRPC Annual Preferences Survey that is available on pages 43 to 87 of the packet.
Super quick. This is already in both boards' priorities documents. There is a summary of these data in each of your packets, but this is our way of presenting you with the full set of data. They provide this to us every year. It's pretty interesting, I think. So, you have it now, and you have the summaries too.
Any questions or comments from the board on this? Boards, I should say. I keep saying board. We're a joint board tonight. All right, seeing none, we can move to our second portion of public participation agency input. Again, anybody who'd like to speak with us can either approach the podium, fill out a card, chat on Zoom, or raise your hand on Zoom. Is there anybody who would like to speak with us now? Anyone online? All right, seeing none, we can next move to board announcements and input. Are there any announcements from board members of either board? I did want to share that the study session I mentioned earlier on October 29th on immigrant and refugee mental health is going to be a joint session with the Developmental Disabilities Board. I just learned, so we are very glad to welcome the DDB to that study session and to jointly facilitate that. Any other announcements? All right. Well, with that, we can adjourn. I want to thank everybody for your participation this evening. Vicki, any final comments?
None for me. That's late enough. We should probably just go home, right?
It's time to go home. So have a good night, everyone.
All right. Thank you.